Hey y'all, so I'm back this week talking about something that may be affecting you in a way that hasn't affected you before, or maybe it's just more prevalent in your life. I'm talking about limitations. To break down the word, a limitation is a rule or restriction you may place in your life or a certain boundary because you have a reoccurring memory that happened that where you failed and you don't want that failure to happen again. You don't want the same mistake twice. Somebody told you you can't do it. You have the fear of just failing and not getting where you need to be. So placing that limitation on yourself that you're okay where you're at and never going after where your truth lies in your life. So addressing what are your weaknesses, what are your inabilities, and how can you flip it? How can you turn that weakness into a strength, your inability into a capability? The biggest thing is to first figure out what the problem is. Figure out what that limit is in your life. I tried writing so many questions on how to solve it, but I was like, I don't even know where to begin because I'm not acknowledging what that problem is in my life. So first of all, acknowledging where those problems lie. What limiting factors have you set that are pushing you away from your goal? So some of the pushing factors in my life at a young age included I had speech therapy problems, 5-6 years old. So I had to go to speech therapy class, and that pushed me back from making relationships, pushed me back from reading because I'm just a verbal reader. I love talking out loud whenever I'm reading and making connections in my life. So that really pushed me back from reading and really being happy whenever I read, and then just being speechless whenever I was around people because I didn't know how to talk. I was so fearful and scared that people would make fun of me if I pronunciated the word wrong or said something in the wrong way. I always had that fear. And I never acknowledged that everybody has those fears and everybody has those mistakes. Maybe not the exact same mistake, but a mistake similar to that in life. Somebody that could relate to me, and I never accepted that. I never accepted that I could change. I just tolerated it for so long, and I seemed okay. I seemed happy. I put a smile on my face and went throughout the day doing the same day in and day out. But I never acknowledged the problem. Another problem I didn't accept about myself was that I didn't like cooking, so I never ventured out on that path until I realized that I really do enjoy cooking. But for a while, all I was concerned about was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna burn the house down the first time I cook. I'm gonna like blacken the meat too much. I'm gonna burn the beans, or I'm gonna undercook something. I'm gonna get sick from it. And then I never went after it because I'm like, why do it whenever somebody else can do it for me? And I won't have to worry about those fears. But I started telling myself that I am adaptable. I can make those changes in my life to improve those weaknesses that I have and make it even into a skill and share my creativity with others. So first, acknowledging that. Second off, how can you make that change and how can you make that improvement in your life, and what areas can you improve in? That includes asking yourself questions about where you need to be. Asking yourself, what is that dream? What is that skill that I really want to have? Where is that in my life? And sometimes you really have to dig deep. You have to dig deep into questions. You have to ask people other questions. You have to form those relationships. You have to form that relationship with yourself, like I mentioned in another video, where you do have to form that relationship before you can form any other relationship and have a successful friendship, any other area of your life, to have it with yourself and to know what your limitations, what your strengths are, and be you. Another big takeaway from this, whenever you do set a limitation for yourself, it's a mindset. it's typically not the truth about yourself. It's typically not where you can be in your life. It's that mindset that holds you back. So you have to sometimes say corny things out loud to yourself to make that change, to take that next step, to do something that you haven't done before, fail, and then redo it again, and fail, and do another mistake. But as long as you're not making that same mistake twice, I like to think about it as a problem. Like, I'm very big into math, so if you keep going and trying to figure out the answer the same way, if you're not getting the result that you want, most likely that's not the way to go, and you need to like find another route, another path to go on to get to that answer. So this is something really big to address, and it takes a lot of effort to change, but it does pay off in the end. Even if, let's say, you have a dream, and you work at that dream for so long, and then you're like, I'm not happy with this. What skills did you get? What skills can you gain? What other areas have you found that you've been lacking in that you can improve on now after that experience? And sometimes I think we just tolerate what we can do and tolerate our life, and that holds us back from so many things. It holds us back from relationships, it holds us back from our creativity, our skill, our actual being of ourselves. So discover those limitations, find ways to mentally, physically exercise those things. You get sore, you fall, you come back up, and you become the person you're meant to be. And sometimes those things are very hidden in your life. So acknowledge those things. And as always, I thank y'all for watching, and have a marvelous week ahead.